So for those of you who haven't been around for the last Dharma talks that, Linda and I gave on Sunday, Bill gave one quite differently and creatively yesterday, but it all comes back to some questions some of you offered up at one of our daily onlines a while back, not that far. And but as Linda and I looked over what seemed like differing questions, we found a sort of common theme, which is what does reflective meditation all come back to? And so I thought I would take a different angle today, rather than the content. Is it about the middle way? Is it about kindness? Is it about particular teachings? I'm going to go back to another angle. It's not the angle, but another angle on this, which is it all comes back to the process of remembering. So I'm talking about a process, right? Not a specific teaching. Any of the teachings might be, and hopefully many will be, referenced in this process of remembering. So a reminder, Sati is the Pali word for remembering, which is often translated or commonly translated as mindfulness, but Sati translated as remembering is quite common also. So in this case, the remembering that we're talking about is a kind of specific remembering, or that I'm going to be talking about today, is remembering the Dharma points that are relevant to you, that are valuable to you, that kind of fit with what's going on in your experience in this moment, or in the meditative process, and I thought of a metaphor that for this process, and my metaphor was a jigsaw puzzle. Now, in a jigsaw puzzle, all the pieces are relevant, right? But not that you wouldn't say, "Oh, that's not throw that one out. That's not so relevant." No, they're all relevant, but you have to figure out the pieces that fit together with really what you're looking at right now. Okay, what might fit with that section of the jigsaw puzzle, or with that piece of the jigsaw puzzle? So I thought that was a pretty good metaphor for what we are doing together in the sharing time of this group and most of our groups. We're talking about our experiences in meditation. We're remembering more about them by talking about them. But then we're also filling out the Dharma points that are relevant or kind of more evident. And so when you're brave enough, I don't know if for all of it takes bravery to speak up, but trying that on, or willing enough to speak up, together, you and I, or whoever's teaching, we try to fit your experience with the teaching, find that piece of the jigsaw puzzle that kind of fits. And sometimes that's really obvious. We state it really obviously. Oh, well, there's a lot of pain in there, a lot of dukkha. You were able to sit with it with some equanimity. So those are both Dharma points that I just said. But you don't need to know what list they come from. You might be interested after a while, and you can easily check that out online. But still, you're learning the Dharma through your experience. It doesn't need to be stated explicitly for you to learn more about it. And the same is true when you're listening to others, because you become more aware, more tuned in to this process of fitting our experience with the Dharma teaching, for that other person sharing their meditation. And that's how we write most of our Dharma talks. We, the teachers, the people who are writing the talk, find the Dharma in our experience, and we try to speak to that. Not so much today's talk, but really most of my talks, I think, start with me finding the Dharma in my experience, and then a Dharma talk kind of unwinding from that. And that's really actually what makes it so wonderful to teach, I have to say, because that structure kind of pushes me to find the teachings and to find the words to best express them. It's a discipline for sure, but it's also a wonderful way to deepen my knowing of the Dharma from direct experience. So this process of looking at experience and then finding the Dharma in it really sets reflective meditation apart from other forms of meditation. So it goes back to what's it all about, right? Because most other forms of learning Dharma, learning the teachings, learning the Buddhist teachings, they go through the other door. They go the other way around. They teach the Dharma as is understood by the tradition and the teacher. And then you, the teacher, then you, the student, see if you resonate with these teachings and and you try to apply them to your experience. Unfortunately, this can become like a tacking on of your teaching with your experience. Like, okay, I don't know where was that impermanence? Where was it? Or attempting actually to turn experience into something it is not to make it match up with the teachings. So if I go back to my jigsaw metaphor, that would kind of be like bending or cutting or manipulating experience so it fits with the teaching. But finding the teaching in your and our experience for ourselves, it actually takes a really long time. So I think that's been part of the benefit of keeping this daily online meditation going for almost 4 years. Yes, it will be 4 years in 2 months, almost to the day. Hard to believe. And I've watched something happen to many of you that come regularly. And it's happening, like without like making it so, you are finding the teachings for yourselves more and more in your own meditative experience. So in reflective meditation, we keep on putting those jigsaw puzzles together or the next piece of the jigsaw. And I don't think we'll ever see the entire jigsaw put together, but I'm satisfied with seeing piece after piece. After all, there probably isn't just one jigsaw puzzle anyway. And metaphors are useful, but they break down at some point, after some point. And that's just like everything else in our life. Ah, there's another Dharma teaching, the teaching of anicca, impermanence, change. So that's the end of my talk there.